And we are now joined by Jeremy Dutcher in St. Catharines, Ontario. Jeremy, woo, it has been quite a day and night, last 24 hours. My goodness, congratulations, my friend. This is incredible news.
Thank you so much. I'm just trying to ride the wave and feeling so much gratitude for everyone that was part of building this second record of mine. And it took 5 years to bring it all together, and it was not an easy process. So I'm so grateful that it's ended in this way.
Take me back to the moment when you're on stage and we saw, you're up there and just everyone coming, gathering around you and jumping for joy. I mean, the amount of, happiness we saw on that stage, it was almost like it was coming through the screen as you're watching it from home. It was amazing. Take me through that moment.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that, because for me, it was so palpable in that moment.
Yeah.
Being surrounded by my community, really. So on this record, I built a choir of 12 singers that were, from different parts of my life, people I'd sung with before, voices I really admired. Mm-hmm. And I asked them just to come and share their voices on this record. I taught them a bit of my language, and it was such a unique experience that really reminded me the importance of community. So when I got to be on that stage and got to be surrounded by all of those people, it was just the perfect end point to this process.
But the album, though, it's a beautiful mix of English as well as your native tongue, Wolastoqiyik. Talk to me about that and the importance of having both of that. In an interview, you talked about sort of your relationship with the English language and wanting to know what that expression was going to feel like with your music.
Yeah, I mean, this record was all about discovering what that sounds like. What do I sound like when I sing in English? That's something that my first record didn't incorporate at all. So when I sat down to make this record, it was like, our mouths need to move in different shapes and ways in order to make certain sounds. So it really was trying to learn a new system of singing. Or try to figure out really what is my voice in English. There's so many English singers out there. There's not very many Wolastoqiyik singers. So I felt like I needed to figure out what that middle voice was. Yeah. And this album process was all about doing that. So I'm sitting here like grateful that I took the plunge and decided to move into English, and I hope it doesn't betray my true intention in making music, because the whole reason why I set out to make some music in the first place was our language was severely endangered, and we couldn't just go to the radio and turn on and hear our language is present. And so I love this idea that, if you see a problem in the world, it's our job as artists and as creators to go and fix it and to make it right. So
talk to me a bit more about you wanting that preservation of language, of culture. We know that is something that's so critical and so important, within so many cultures, but within the Indigenous communities, because you're losing that. And that's always been part of your upbringing. Your mother, of course, was very instrumental in all of that.
Absolutely. I got to give her the credit and the glory all the time in this work, because she, as when I was a young person, kind of lit a fire under all of us in the family to say, like, you boys better know this language. It's gonna help us in the future. And I look at it now and I say, I'm so glad I put that effort and that time into coming closer to fluency and creating work in the language and really prioritizing it with what I do, in the hopes that, other young people can look out there and see themselves reflected in a world that, there's not always a lot of room for other languages other than English or French. Where I'm from in New Brunswick, there's a bilingual debate, but it has nothing to do with Indigenous languages. Right. So I'm hoping that we can all the time kind of change that conversation and make it better.
and you're helping to sort of pave that way, and with your music and supporting your mom with what she's doing. And
listen, I'm not paving nothing. All I'm doing is trying to build a sign and point in the direction of the work that's really happening.
We love everything that you're doing. We think it is fantastic. Two-time Polaris Music, winner here. We talked about this in the break. I'm hoping you to go for a third. However long it takes, you got to get the hat trick. But Jeremy, it has been such an honor and a pleasure to be speaking with you.